All right, welcome back. We're going to talk about how to graph your data in this video. So if you've watched the other two videos, you know that we have entered our data onto the Excel spreadsheet and we have run a t-test, which is why there is currently data in my SigmaPlot notebook. We are not going to use this data, right? So let's go back to our Excel document. Right now, notice if I scroll all the way over, I have my average and my standard error for both my control, which is my top table, and my experimental, which is my bottom table. I am going to graph these values in yellow. So let's walk through how you will set up your SigmaPlot worksheet in order to graph this nicely. All right, so you can use the same worksheet that you did for your t-test. I'm going to start in column 3 here, and I want to put the days. All right, so you should have 4 different days. Make sure you type out the word day and put day 0, day 1, day 2, and day 3. It's important to type out the word because if you just write the number 0, 1, 2, or 3, sometimes SigmaPlot will mess up and it'll think that those are values that need to be graphed. So make sure you spell out the word day. All right, in column 4 here, I'm going to double click and I'm going to label it my control average. In column 5, I'm going to label it my control standard error of the means. And I'm going to bring those values over. So my control averages, I'm going to highlight just the values and I can copy, paste them over. Great. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for my standard error. I'm going to highlight them all, copy, and paste them over. All right, now I want to label my column 6 as the experimental average and column 7 as the experimental standard error of the means. And again, I'm going to copy over that data. Now notice I've set them up right next to each other, so I could copy all of these values in one go. Copy and paste. All right, so now we have all of our data ready to graph. So if we go up to create a graph, or excuse me, there it is, graph page, we are going to select this line scatter, right? Because we want to show changes over time, and a scatter plot is a really great way to do this, or a line graph is a really great way to do this. So we're going to click that in that drop-down menu, and I want you to select the one that's the second from the last on the top row, right? I want to select this particular graph. Now when I click it, it'll say, where is my data? It's in the worksheet columns. Great, click next. I'm going to go X, menu Y, click next. My column that I want to select for my X will be my labels, right? So that's where I'm going to highlight the days. Now, Y1 means what is our first data that we want to graph? And we're going to select the control averages. And for the error one, we want to select the standard errors associated with the control averages. All right, so Y2, that's our second set of data. So we'll click on the experimental column and the experimental error, right? And then we're going to click finish. All right, and now we have our graph all nicely made for us here. I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit. All right, so notice we have our line graph here. We have days plotted on the x-axis, and they have been nicely labeled because we had a whole column where we typed in our labels. We also have our legend, which is important because we want to know which of these dots is the average versus the experimental. All right, and it already plotted our standard error. So now all you need to do, and you can move this around if you would like. I like to put it up if there's a blank spot in my graph. All you need to do is format your graph. Now remember, there's no title, so I'm going to delete that off. I can edit my axes labels, so my X data, as well as my Y data. Make sure on your Y axis labels, you are including your units. All right, once you have everything the way that you like it, your axes have been labeled, you need to get this image off of the virtual lab or off of the lab computer. To do this, there's a couple of different ways. I like to go to this home page and click on the arrow below graph and click export. Right? I like to select my desktop so I can easily find it. And I will name it my Artemia graph. And I want to save it as a JPEG. JPEG makes it really easy to put it into a Word document or into a Google Docs. And I'm going to press save. I'm going to click yes. I will keep all the formatting that is defaulted. All right, another way that you could do this is if you go into the toolbar here, you could essentially take a screenshot using this snipping tool. All right, so it'll pop up and you'll just go over the part that you would like to screenshot. Oh, let me make sure I click new. All right, go over the plot that I would like to screenshot, and then it'll pop up in a new window. And you can save it again to your desktop and call it what you would like. Now make sure once you have it saved, you upload it to either your Google Drive or you email it to yourself. Once it's into a document, a Word doc or a Google Doc, then you can type in the figure caption right below it. And we do want to type our figure captions. All right, so you'll include this in your assignment. Right, you'll have your figure caption, as well as your abstract.